YouTube, Superheavy Samurai is here and it is top tier. Now, I know I'm a little bit late on this video. Well, actually, I made a video earlier, but then I realized it had no sound. So when I went to upload it, I was laughing at myself for like 5 hours. I was like, okay, we have no sound here and this is going to be a disaster. Anyway, on to the video. Okay, so Superheavy Samurai is a deck that revolves around one card combos, and this deck is absurdly powerful because of that. Uh, it gets a big power boost from, Kashtira basically getting destroyed by the last ban list, which, if you play TCG, you know that Kashtira was the big counter deck to Superheavy Samurai, right? And was the main reason why this got a little bit less representation at the YCS level. But also, this deck also got neutered in the TCG within the first couple of weeks because Wakaushi is just that insane. So let's talk about the deck. We're going to go mainly over the engine. The hand traps we don't have to go over too much because everyone knows what Maxi does, I would assume, by now. So, yeah, let's just go over the main deck and what we can do. So first is the main play start of the deck is Wakaushi. Now, this card is absolutely ridiculous. This card, if you remember Pepe format back in the TCG, this card is pretty much Joker and Monkey Board all in one card. So let's talk about its effect. Now, the main effect that you're going to be using more than anything else is the pendulum effect. The monster effect really doesn't come up unless you're in like a life or death scenario. And at that point, you're probably running like the level 10, so you could OTK with. You can run the level 10, so you could OTK through like a Maxi and then use this. Yeah. Let's go over the effect first. So, while Wakaushi has the effect, if you have no spell or traps in the graveyard, now keep in mind it's the whole theme of the archetype, you could place one super heavy pendulum monster from your deck in your spell and trap zone. So, right away, this becomes monkey board, right? So, you just get a free pendulum out, blah, blah, blah. But it gets a lot better. Then you could special summon this card. So, you might say, okay, but then I don't keep this as a pendulum skill, so it's not full monkey board. Well, let's keep reading. All right. When this card is sent to the pendulum zone for a synchro summon, part of the monster effect, this part you actually care about, but when this is sent to the extra deck as a synchro summon, then you get to place this card back in the pendulum zone. So this card is absolutely ridiculous. This places a pendulum monster in the pendulum zone, then special summons itself. Then you place this thing back once you synchro with it, and I'll teach you how you're going to get it back in the pendulum zone and how this card really helps you play around the Nibiru so effectively to the point where you pretty much don't care as much about the Nibiru at all when playing Super Heavy. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. But that's absolutely insane. Now, you're probably saying, okay, Sean, but where's the Joker part? Joker searches a monster. Well, we're going to talk about that. And this pendulum monster you're in the placing in the pendulum zone is Monk Big Ben K. Now, you don't care about the monster effect at all. Like, the other one, I didn't go over Wakaushi's other effect. I'll go back to it. But you don't care about the other monster effect at all. Here, this sends Big Ben K from your deck to the graveyard. That doesn't come up at all. Basically, what this thing does and why this card is really, really relevant is the pendulum effect. Basically, if you control a Super Heavy Samurai, you add a Super Heavy Samurai soul from your deck to your hand. Now, you may be wondering what those souls are. Well, there's a few of them. Soul Piercer, Soul Horns. Those are the main ones we are running, and also Soul Gate. Now, Piercer is really, really good, because Piercer basically is really broken. Basically, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you add a Super Heavy Samurai from your deck to your hand, and also you could equip this through a Super Heavy Samurai that does piercing damage that's not really relevant. The piercing damage is not relevant. The equip effect kind of is, because it's a way for it to get to the graveyard quicker if you open up something like Wagon. But mainly, what you need to know is this is not a once per turn search. So you can search off this card as many times as you can get in the graveyard. So commonly, you normal summon your Piercer, you link off into your Scarecrow, then you reborn the Piercer, get another search, and then you can get another search even if you want to after you use. You revive it back, synchro summon with, you synchro into Perone, that gets you a second search, and then you can even get other searches later on if you want to revive it off of scales and then do other plays. So, there's numerous amounts of ways to get searches. You also can get a search off this card if you, let's say, go Therion King Regulus and use Regulus to equip this, and then you make Barone and pop this. So there's a lot of things you can do to get searches. It's ridiculous. So sometimes you end up getting like 3, 4, or 5 searches off this thing in a turn. On top of that, you are running your other soul card, which is your Soul Horns. Oh, and I forgot Soul Peacemaker. That's like one of the inaugural ones. But Soul Horns is an optional card to run, but this card is really good. A is an extender, because we play both Auroradon and Not Beast. And B, this card could just be searched through so many different applications in the deck. So basically, you target this, it can make a double attack. This is really good also for the OTK with using the level 10. But mainly, you could special summon this in attack, and then Bite modulate the level, make Bite can modulate the level, and then make Not Beast. Or you could just use this in a machine extender to go into Auroradon with. On top of that, we're also running Soul Peacemaker. This card is inaugural to the combo because you search this off of your Big Ben K or one of your Soul Piercer searches. And then what you do is you equip this onto your Scarecrow, tribute the Scarecrow to summon out either a wagon, or you're going to summon out a Scales out of the deck to get another revive. So this is really, really important to that part of the combo. And on top of that, we're also running the other Soul card, which is Soul Gate, which basically you equip this to a monster, a Super Heavy Samurai. It can become a tuner, or you can just special summon it from the equip zone as well. As you, oh, I did not mean to do that. Hold on, let me get that back. Hold on, let me just jump out and jump back in, because I do not know what I cut out of the deck, and I do not want to spend an hour here trying to figure that out. Okay, anyway, back to the deck list. Okay, so anyway, that's the soul cards. Alright, so that's the main important thing. Now, on to the other Super Heavy Samurais. Back to Wakaushi. So its other effect is that you can discard a card and then discard a monster, which doesn't really matter what you discard because everything in this deck is a monster. You can special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster for your Andrew deck of defense. Now you may say, why didn't you go over that? That sounds amazing. Well, the key is this part of the effect locks you into Super Heavy Samurais for the duration of the turn. So that's the reason why you don't generally use this, except for a last resort ditch option. And it could also potentially get you around Duel Lockbird as well, if you want to make the level 10. Now, going on even further, we have Wagon. So Wagon is one of the starters in the deck, as is Wakaushi and Soul Piercer. This is another starter. Basically, what this does is on summon, you switch it to defense. Then you can activate its effect, change it back to its attack, and add a Super Heavy Samurai Soul monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, you can search Piercer, equip Piercer to this, link this off in the Scarecrow, and then you have full combo. So it's another starter for the deck. And then on top of that, we are running our Scales. So Scales is not a starter directly, but this card allows us to special summon itself from our hand when your opponent has 2 or more monsters and you control none. Or when this card can be special summoned from or normal from anywhere and still get its effect. Which its effect is to revive a Super Heavy Samurai back from the graveyard. So you can get this out of the deck via your Soul Peacemaker. You can just summon this by searching it off of your Piercer or any of your Super Heavies that search. And pendulum it, get the effect. Normal it, get the effect. For the grind game, there's a lot of things you can do. But this is very good for the revive. Then on top of that, what's also really good too is if you open this and if you open this or you search this directly to play around Draw and Lock, then you can potentially even make plays to where if you have, let's say, Bike in the Grave, which I'm going to go over, then you can make a Barone to a Draw and Lock as well. So that's an option for you. Now, on top of that, we're also playing 3 Motorbike. There's no reason not to play 3 of this. This just basically discards itself and searches any Super Heavy Samurai. So it's a 1-card starter for the deck. There is no reason not to run 3 of this card. So that's pretty much that for the whole Super Heavy engine. In the main deck anyway. The hand traps you can interchange in and out. We're running Veiler, Ash, Nibiru, Maxi, pretty much the standard. For the extra deck, we're playing Thunder Dragon, Colossus, Cupid Pitch, Not Beast, Excel, Synchron, because we're running an Auroradon package. So we're easily able to access Colossus and Borload, Savage Dragon. We also play Saratubi. We play Excel Synchro Stardust, Baron de Fleur, Baguska, Double Scarecrow. So if you don't know what this card does, basically Scarecrow is a link 1. If you link it off, you cannot link summon with this card this card cannot be used as link material. Now you're probably going to say, well, how do I get it off the field? Again, there are two ways. You could use Peacemaker to tribute it, summon a Samurai to the deck, or you could even use Barone and pop it and then make more plays in the EMZ later on. But basically, this allows you to get your whole combo going with Piercer. And yeah. Then Cleafort Genius is absolutely incredible. So, I didn't go over Scarecrow's effect. Basically, if you have no spell traps in the graveyard, discard one card, revive back a Super Heavy Samurai to the field. So you can even discard a hand trap if you want to, and then revive a Super Heavy Samurai monster back from the graveyard to the field. Also, if this thing battles, you take no battle damage, which comes up, but it's not mostly relevant. It can come up through, like, if they hand trap you or whatever. Then on top of that, we're running Cleafort Genius. This card is absolutely incredible. Basically, you can target one card either side of the field and negate their effects. So this is really good to play around Baguska and the Mira. But also where this card really shines is if two monsters are summoned to the zone at this point at the same time. Basically, if you Pendulum Summon, you're going to get to add back two Super Heavy Samurais. I mean, not add back two. You're going to add one level 5 or higher machine from your deck to your hand. So that's going to mostly be your Therion King Regulus, which we're running in the deck, which is just basically, if you don't know what this card does, you equip a machine from your graveyard to this card, and this card is basically an Omni Negate. Basically, think of it as like a Griffin Rider, essentially, for the deck that can be searched off of this. So basically, you Pendulum Summon and then get your Omni Negate. Then on top of that, we're running a Rorodon, Apollosa, and Access Code Talker. So, Rorodon is really nice in this deck because it plays through a lot of different hand traps. Like, if they nib you, you can go right into a Rorodon. It's very easy to make this. There is nib checkpoints, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to go over the whole Super Heavy Samurai combo so that way you're familiar with what's going on. We hit Master with this easy. This week, we're going to be doing a Master Duel streams, so make sure you are tuned into that. YouTube, Twitch. Also, I'm getting a second monitor. I'm very much working on it. Should be coming. I tried to work on my old monitor, but that monitor is got to shorten the wire, so it's not going to work, so we're going to have to get a second one. So, yeah, thank you for being patient with that. Anyway, let's go on to, let's do some combo, guys. Yeah, let's go over the combo. Okay. Alright. Please open me a starter so I don't have to reset this 100 times. Okay. Perfect. Alright. This is perfect. So now, in this hand, we have quite a few options. We open up Wakaushi, Soul Piercer, and Motorbike. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about is I'm not going to only talk about combos. I'm going to talk about how to play through hand traps in this deck effectively. Now, the very important thing that you want to make sure of is that you have a plan just in case they troll you. Now, in this hand, we have a very easy plan to make Baguska if we want to. We can also make Barone if they wanted to troll us. So let's say that they were to use Droll and Lockbird, right? Well, the first thing we always want to search off of is the Motorbike, because the Motorbike is our key way to getting through Droll and Lock. Especially like if we don't open up Wakaushi, in this hand we happen to do so, but if we don't open up Wakaushi, we want to kind of get to Wakaushi just in case we get drolled. Because then we still have our normal summon. So for example, if we pitch Bike and add Wakaushi, then we still have our normal summon as well as summoning Wakaushi, so we can at least make a Baguska and then end on hand traps if we were to get trolled. But we have Wakaushi in hand, so we have options to be able to search other things at this point. Yeah. So we're going to activate Motorbike. Motorbike is going to go ahead and pick up. Now, at this point, we have like a variable amount of options because we already have what we need. We can even, if we wanted to, hard search Peacemaker right now, which is fine. We can even search a wagon. I think hard searching Peacemaker gives us more options, so we're going to do that. And it's also really good because if we hard search this card, what's going to happen is, and you're probably going to say, yeah, but don't you want more for the Pendulum Summon? And the answer is, yes, you do. But you have Soul Piercer, which is going to search you 100 cards this turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But more importantly, what's important is by searching this, you have better options to play through, like a Droll and Lock bird. So like if our opponent slapped down a Droll and Lock now, we'd still be in a decent spot. Now, On top of that, what we're going to do now, assuming no draw and lock verb, we're going to continue play. And I'm going to show you how you get around other hand traps. So if you're worried about an Ash Blossom, don't, because Ash Blossom is the easiest thing in the world to play through. Even if I open this by itself, the Soul Piercer, I wouldn't even care. This could just get around Ash Blossom so easily by itself, because right away if they ash your first Soul Piercer, then you just go ahead and search your Wakaushi on the second revive. So I'm going to start off with this just to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and normal summon the Piercer, and then we're going to go ahead and link one into our Scarecrow. Now, if our opponent activates Ash Blossom right now, so if our opponent activates Ash here, then we just end up discarding a monster, reviving, and making 2 Scarecrow, and then at that point we'd be able to get our Wakaushi anyway. Even if we didn't open Wakaushi, in this case we did, but even if we didn't, we just had that by itself, we have access to Wakaushi. Now, given the hand we have, like I said before, you have a billion gazillion extenders in this hand. So there's no pressure here to having to search your Peacemaker early and then say, oh great, now I'm going to have no searches for the rest of the turn. You have plenty of searches. Okay, now you're going to go ahead at this point and you're going to search your wagon. Now, I like to keep scales in the deck rather than searching it, because then you can make plays, well, sometimes it can be complicated, but sometimes you might want to keep your whatchamacallit in your deck, your scales, because you might want to tribute it off with Piercer to get through the deck, not Piercer, Peacemaker to get it out of the deck off of your Scarecrow. But if you feel in the Nibiru, you can also add it to hand. So if you want to play around the Nibiru harder, we can go about it this way, and I think this is the best way to do it now that I think about it. We're going to add our scales to our hand. This is good because now if our opponent has Nibiru, then we have an option to say, okay, well, now if our opponent Nibirus us, then we have a scales option that we can pendulum summon. Now, the next thing we're going to do, and keep in mind we're at 2 summons right now. This is 1 summon, this is 2 summons. So I want you to keep in mind of this, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate Wakaushi. We're going to scale up. We're going to special summon the Wakaushi, so that's 3 summons. Now, the goal of this is, and I'm going to tell you this very specifically because you don't want to do this the wrong way, because if you do this the wrong way and you end up tributing for Peacemaker first before you go into Excel Synchro Stardust, then you're going to be vulnerable to Nibiru. You want to be less vulnerable to Nibiru, and you want to make it like you're a big bully and you don't care. Okay? So now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to activate this, and you're going to add a free Superheavy from your deck to your hand. Now, this could either be a discard, or you can end up keeping this in your hand for an extended pendulum summon. If you want more options to get through Nibiru, then keep this in hand. If you don't want to get through Nibiru, then you can discard this and keep a hand trap in hand. But either way, you have options here. Now, let's say, for instance, we want more options through Nibiru, and we end up discarding Maxi. Then we can go ahead and revive. Now, another thing very important with this deck is make sure you are very careful with your zone placement. So, if you summon, like, let's say you're going second, right, and your opponent, you want to use a Nibiru that you opened. Make sure the Nibiru never goes in the middle zone, because if you put it in the middle zone, you're never going to be able to use Cleave Genius's effect, because that's going to be forcing you to pendulum summon to the middle zone either way. So you're going to be locked out of that. And also, it could get a little bit annoying for Scarecrow, depending on what exactly else is on your field. Scarecrow has to summon to a zone it points to, so make sure you keep either a middle zone or a bottom left zone open, so that the far left zone open, so you always have a zone to summon Scarecrow with. Now, this puts us at 4 summons. Now, our 5th summon is going to be Excel Synchro Stardust. Now, you're probably saying, well, what is that? What do you care? They're going to nib you anyway. Well, you do care because you want to get nibbed when Wakaushi's in the extra deck. Because if they nib you at this point, and this is your nib checkpoint, okay? This is your Nibiru checkpoint here, because you want to make sure that they nib this. Because if my opponent nibs now, and you're probably saying, well, they have to nib now? Well, yes, because they have to nib now because you're going to threaten Barone. If they don't nib you now, then you allow you to make Barone Defleur. And also, if you don't open Bike, Bike has to be your first search. You have to get to Bike or you're not going to have access to Barone. So if you don't open Bike, make sure you get to Bike immediately before even getting to anything else. Now, we're going to go ahead and activate our Piercer. our Excel Synchro starters and our Wakaushi. Now Wakaushi will go ahead and set it as the pendulum scale, and then we can add another Superheavy from our deck to our hand. So I could go ahead and add this if I want to. This is actually kind of good here. And then I could special summon this. Now, I could have also added Wagon, because Wagon could have just searched this anyway, so it doesn't really... Well, I'm going to get it off this. It doesn't really matter. Like I said before, and this kind of goes into reference what I said before, you have 100 searches in this deck, so worrying about what you search is not even that important. I could have probably not even discarded Maxi there and still been fine, but just to show you what the full extent of this deck can do, I discarded Maxi. Now I'm going to make Barone, and you always want to make Barone in the middle zone, because not the middle zone, but like a middle zone under, I should better phrase this, under a link zone, under an EMZ. That's what you want to make it, directly under an EMZ. That's a better way to phrase it than what I tried to do. Okay, now, on top of this, now we can make some really cool plays. Now we can make a Notoria Beast. So what I can do is I can go ahead and equip this. Then I can special itself. Then I can activate the Soul Peacemaker. And in here, I can summon out a Bike. Activate Bike, targeting my horns. And then I can synchro into Not Beast. Now keep in mind, we still have not Pendulum summoned yet. Now I can go ahead and summon 2. Now if I make Not Beast here, I can't make Genius. That's the only downside. But it's still fine, because we're going to still have an excessive amount of negates on the field regardless. So in this case, I'll revive back another copy of Soul Piercer. Why not? If I wanted to go for Genius, I wouldn't make Not Beast. I just go directly into Cleafort Genius and then search the Therion. But this is an option. Make Auroradon. And making sure I have 3 zones open so I can Auroradon. And then, like I said, we could just search for follow-up now. Because, hello, I'm not a once per turn. Now we can go ahead and search. I don't know. At this point, we could just search another. This is good for the follow-up. You make easy access code talkers. Search this. And then summon out 3 tokens. Then we can activate Auroradon. Special summon a lion out of the deck. Then we can make Excel Synchron. Special summon the lion token. Activate the effect. Dump Jet out. Now, if you open up Jet Synchron, it's not even an issue because you can discard at any point with the combo. So, if I didn't go for the Not Beast line, you always want this as level 4 so you can end on, I didn't talk about this in the profile, Saratobi. So basically what Saratobi is, it can attack and defense, so it's another way to get around Baguska. But also what's very important is this is a quick effect, pop MST, basically quick effect MST, which is nice to pop a Calurium or pop a Riceoff or anything like that. You can also pop some of the branded stuff like Branded Beast and Branded Regained, stuff like that. Now I can activate Jet. I can just pitch one of the cards I searched here, and that's okay. Summon back the Jet Synchron, and then I can make Cupid Pitch. Increase the level. And here I can make Borload Savage. Now, I also want to point out, if they nib you, you don't really want to go to the Not Beast line. So if you get nibbed, the best thing to do is to go right into the other line that gets you 2 Omni Negates afterwards. But also, yeah, so that ends up doing that. Also, if they nib you on Excel Synchro Stardust, you can modulate your combo to go into Baron de Fleur instead later on. So what you could do is you can increase the level of Excel Synchron. So like, let's say you get nibbed. Normally, now I know I just contradicted myself and told you to decrease the level, but if you get Nibiru early on, then you want to increase the level so you can make Baron later. Because they're going to be forced to negate you on Excel Synchro Stardust. So if they nil you, if they pop your Excel Synchro Stardust, then you can increase the level, and then when any level 4 Super Heavy that you Pendulum summoned, 6 and 4 goes right into Baron and also makes the Borreload Savage. So you can still end on Regulus, Borreload, and Baron even if they nib you to prevent you from going into Nibiru. So that's something you can do as well. So a lot of options through Nibiru there. Now we can go ahead and summon Corridor, and then we can make Thunder Dragon Colossus. Okay. So our end board here is we have scales for the follow-up. We can even search Bike if we want to have variability and not search the scales. That's okay too. But we have a Notoria Beast, so an infinite spell negate. No searches, and no searches for him. 2 Omni negates, and we happen to have drawn an Ash, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disruptions. Now, we can also have counted this for the Maxi if we wanted to keep the Maxi in, and we could have did that and had about 6 forms of disruption here, which is absolutely insane. Well, not these could potentially even be even more, because you think about it, it's more, it's like a continuous Imperial Order, so you just negate as many spells as you want, and this pretty much shuts down any form of interaction that your opponent's going to have. So absolutely ridiculous, absolutely insane. So we essentially have like 2 Floodgates and 2 Omni Negates and an Ash. So that's really, really good. Yeah, and again, like even if they nib you, you still end on 5 disruptions, because if you get nibbed, instead of going into Colossus and Beast, well actually no, you still get Colossus anyway, but you would be in Regulus instead of Beast, and then have the Colossus and whatever, and then still have the Therion on the field as well. And then yeah, I'm going to show you a line that gets us to the Therion line. So we're going to scoop out of this, but you get the whole idea. Alright, so let's retry this. So here we go. Now I'm going to show you the Therion line of gameplay. Alright, so again, we opened up. Now, alright, I actually want to do this. If you open this up, it's fine, but like it's less optimal, because then you can't scale anything out of the deck, which is why some people play 2 of it, but I don't like to do that because then you're running 2 bricks in the deck, when it could end up working out most of the time anyway. Alright, so here we go. Rephrasing this. This is the combo that's going to involve us going directly into Therion line with 5 disruptions. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to link off the Piercer. Piercer's going to go ahead and summon the Scarecrow. We're going to use Piercer to search Bike. Now again, even with this hand, we still have the option to equip this, special summon this, revive, and then even if we were to get trolled here, we could still make either Baron or Baguska. So we're going to go ahead and open. What you want to make is dependent on the hand traps you open. So if you feel like you have more hand traps that can be sustainability, that's not Gamma, that can activate when we have a monster on the field, then you're good. Then you can make Baron and then still have like 3 disruptions anyway. So that's still fine. Okay, so here we're going to go Bike, and then we're going to search our Wakaushi. We're going to scale our Wakaushi. Wakaushi's going to go ahead and scale up the Big Ben K. Then we're going to go ahead and summon. You always want to summon this directly under an EMZ, the Wakaushi. Then we can go ahead and use our pick up a search. We can actually pick up the Piercer. That's actually fine. Then in this case, we'll just discard the Gamma because this card's dead anyway. Summon this back from the graveyard. And make our Excel Synchro Stardust. Like I told you before, make sure you do this under the nib. Gonna go 1, 2, and 3. Always chain block your searches. Unless for some reason they have a negate on the field, then you may want to chain block that, but that's generally not the case. We'll just pick this up. Special summon this. Make our Baron de Fleur. Under an EMZ. Okay. Now at this point, we can go equip. special. At this point, we can go to wagon. That's even fine, because we already opened up the scales. Activate the wagon. Add another search, because we're just that good at the game. Now we can go ahead and equip this. Oh, also very important here is that if you don't open this, well, you don't search this, the extender, the Soul Gaia, then you have to go for this out of the deck. If you don't search Soul Gaia, you have to summon this out of the deck, because otherwise you can't make Genius first. Just keep that in mind. Because you want to make Genius before you Pendulum Summon. So we can make Genius. Now notice how I have two monster zones open directly below Genius. That's so we can get the Pendulum. So we'll go ahead and summon a Soul Piercer and our monster here. We'll trigger 1, trigger 2. You could do this if you want to combo into another level 8 that you may run in the extra deck, but we're not doing that. So we can go ahead and just summon this. You can even make Apollosa if you wanted to as well. So there's quite a few things you can do. Then we'll end our Regulus. We'll add a Regulus, and then we can continue on playing the game. So at this point, we can go ahead and we can do a lot of things, honestly. Holy macro. Okay, so we can get our well, actually, we Pendulum summoned too much. Actually, I could have did another play, but it's not even. We'll Barone pop this. Activate, just get another search for the follow-up. Add a Scales. Then we'll go ahead and make a Rorodon. You don't want to summon Regulus till later on in the combo. I'd actually rather keep that in the field. Go into Rorodon. Okay, then we get to summon out 3. Sorry about the delay. Summon out 3 of these. Activate the effect. Summon out our O-Lion. Then we'll make our Excel Synchron. Activate. You're going to see the Superheavy line come out here. I'm going to dump Jet to the grave. Increase the level. We want to decrease here, not increase. Then we can discard. I don't know. So much to discard here. Keep the Ash in hand so we have a hand trap. Then we can make our Cupid Pitch. Increase the level. Make our Borload Savage. Activate Cupid Pitch. Activate Borload Savage. We'll go ahead and we will get our Rorodon. Add our Nemesis Corridor. Then we can go ahead and we can Synchro Summon into our Saratubi. Activate Regulus. Targeting our Soul Piercer. Equip. Activate Corridor. Put it back. Make our Colossus. And then that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5, depending if they activate like a spell or trap or something, and 6 potential disruptions here to interrupt our opponent with on their turn. So, as you can see, one of the most deadliest and dangerous combos that you can play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Okay, so that's gonna be it for the video. Gonna stop there. I'm not gonna show any replays, so this video will be an hour and a half long, and I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna have a climb coming soon. Probably, I want to say Thursday. We're doing Master Duel, so make sure you're there. B square. We're gonna climb through Master Rank, and I appreciate the likes, comments, subs, and yeah, and please like, comment, and sub to YouTube. I appreciate that. And Twitch. Help me get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. We're very close. We're at almost 900 subscribers now. So keep on subbing. Thank you. Peace out. Bye, YouTube.